Gloomwood released in early access, which I've been extremely excited for, as most New Blood games often have an old school feel, which scratches an itch I got from playing tons of old school shooters like your Quakes and your Bloods. So lo and behold, Gloomwood is actually inspired by games like Thief, which I've yet to finish a playthrough of because I genuinely suck at stealth em ups, which is good for me all things considered because the game advertises itself on thiefwithguns.com. The gameplay itself is mainly a stealth-focused shooter, much like how it advertises, with a lot of points in its favor. The real only detrimental points tend to be because it's a quality of life change that would be nice to have, or something that's more or less, it's too early in development, so you can't really critique the game properly. The stealth itself is represented very well. You've got a ring which lights up depending on how visible you are. The mechanic gives a natural way to notice how stealthed up you are without having a HUD, which is used astutely in a few ways. It usually provides a small light source so you can see what you're holding. And if you're completely stealthed, it completely shadows your hand so you can't see it. It's on your thumb, so it's always visible whether you're holding the shotgun, the pistol, or the cane sword, and the only issue is that if you holster a weapon that isn't the cane sword, you can no longer see your hand. You have to equip your sword, then unequip it quickly, which is just slightly tiresome and another one of those quality of life changes. Sadly, I can't do a deep dive of the story, but what little story you do get is going to be, it seems quite interesting. It's leading towards this lady who has seized power politically and is using it to take control of the town of Gloomwood. There's also a disease spreading to certain people which seems to be affecting their mind, making them these bloodthirsty monsters.
Axe goes in, blood comes out. Axe goes in, blood comes out.
The real deal breaker from the stealth standpoint is that it's quite easy. You could look all over Twitter, you could look all over the Steam page, where common complaints are that the AI isn't particularly smart, which is true. It's really hard to mess up in the game, and when it happens, unless you alert the whole tri-state area to your mishap through gunshots galore, it's pretty easy to stab away most problems. I'd only died twice in 2 short runs, but that was after me mainly goofing around trying to quickly get through my runs and get to the end to pick up footage. I think the best word to use for the game is that it's captivating, and has a lot of good imagery, and as per usual with New Blood games, the sound design is just perfect. This game isn't any slacker either. New Blood's apparently got sound design running through their very veins and have it down to a T, from the ominous waves from the main menu. To the sound design of the phonograph, which is just flat out creepy and off-putting. The sound design is just really well done. I cannot understate this. And when I say I get captivated, it's small moments like these which really, truly immerse me.
He's going to have our heads if we don't find him.
Keep quiet, fool. She has spies everywhere.
Little did they know that I'm sitting behind the rock waiting for just the right moment to strike. I follow them through the forest to their cabin, a loose assortment of planks that in any actual building. It was supposed to be a hunter's cabin, but it more closely resembled that of a butcher's. They took up position near the front. leaving the back wide open, with enough time to sneak up and get a peek inside. Each one is tall, with lanky limbs which they use to coddle their weapons like newborn children. As one of the guards comes from the front to watch the back, I take the moment to strike, stabbing him right through his side. His raspy, sucked down an entire carton of mustard gas cigarettes breath had ceased. Next was the Axeman. As I got closer and closer, with blood sprouting after every one of his axe swings, it was like watching one of those children who grow up to be sociopaths having fun torturing a small animal. Lastly would be the guard out front, taken out in a similar manner to his first compatriot. They'd failed to find me, and overall failed their mistress. Would I recommend it? Yes and no. It's hard to recommend in its current state as a game, but it has potential, and I always recommend supporting indie developers. If you're someone who likes New Blood or wants to support independent developers, I'd say go right ahead. And if you're more keen on getting a finished product, wait for the game to come out or at least release in a better capacity, a more official one.